Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're basically tearing up the old sales manual. You know why? Because in a world where your customer knows just as much as you do, maybe even more, the hard sell is officially dead. So we're going to show you what's replaced it. Okay, let's just dive right into this. The whole philosophy of selling has done a complete 180. We've moved away from just pushing products and giving these one-way monologues. Now it's all about collaboration, but actually solving real problems. The goal isn't just to make a sale anymore. It's to make your customer's business run smarter, faster, and, more profitably. And because of this massive power shift, that one-size-fits-all pitch, it's totally extinct. I mean, think about it. Today's buyers have already done their homework before you even walk in the door. They are not looking for a walking brochure. They're looking for a strategic partner, someone who can give them insights they can't just find on Google. And hey, if you need proof, just look at this number. A staggering 96% of buyers say it's the sellers who deliver real, measurable value that ultimately win their business. This is not just some trend. This is the new reality of the market. It's basically a unanimous demand for a better way of doing things. So this whole modern approach, it has a name: needs-based selling. And the rule is super simple. You diagnose before you prescribe. It means you have to shift your entire focus from, hey, here's what I've got, to tell me what's hurting. It's all about leading with genuine curiosity, not with your product catalog. Now, what's really fascinating is when you map this out, like you can see here, the modern sales process, it perfectly mirrors a classic problem-solving framework. I mean, look at step 1. It's not pitch, it's setting the stage. Step 2 isn't about features, it's about defining the problem. This just completely reframes the entire interaction from some pushy sales pitch to more of a collaborative workshop. So you might be asking, how do you even earn the right to have that problem-solving conversation in the first place? Well, the answer is trust. It is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of every single deal. Without it, you're just noise, and I promise you, your message will never, ever get through. And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea. The data is crystal clear. 65% of people say trustworthiness is a total make or break factor. Without it, your emails get deleted, your calls go straight to voicemail, and your proposals just sit there gathering dust. Believe it or not, there's actually a formula for this. Think of it like this. Trust is built on your credibility, that's you proving you really know your stuff, and your intimacy, that's showing you genuinely care about their success. But here's the catch. All of that hard work can be completely undone by the client's perception of risk. So your job is pretty simple. Maximize the top 2 and minimize the one on the bottom. So how in the world do you attack that risk part of the equation? Well, you de-risk the decision for them. You could do this by starting with a small pilot project, or maybe offering a clear money-back guarantee, or even building in an easy exit strategy. Every single thing you do to make them feel secure builds that trust and makes it way, way easier for them to say yes. Okay, so once you've built that foundation of trust, you finally earned the right to ask the most important questions. This is where we really get to the heart of the matter, uncovering what the customer truly needs, not just what they're telling you they need on the surface. Harvard's Theodore Levitt absolutely nailed this decades ago with a quote that every single salesperson should have tattooed on their brain. People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole. This one idea, it changes everything. Your job isn't to sell your product, it's to sell the outcome your product creates. And it's so important to understand that needs operate on 2 different levels. On the surface, you've got the measurable business needs, the stuff they'll tell you in a meeting. But simmering just beneath that are these powerful, unspoken personal needs. The best salespeople, they don't just solve the business problem, they solve the human problem too. So how do you find these deeper needs? It is not magic. You just ask better questions. Research from countless studies shows this undeniable link. The more high-quality, open-ended questions you ask, the higher your chances of success. It's really about fundamentally flipping your talk-to-listen ratio on its head. So, only after you've done all that deep, empathetic listening can you finally start connecting the dots. This is that moment you get to transition from being an investigator to being an architect, where you're building a solution that perfectly maps to the specific needs you've so carefully uncovered. And the language you use right here is so critical. You have to speak the language of benefits, not features. Think of it this way. A feature is just the technical spec on the box. A benefit is the feeling the customer gets when their problem completely disappears. Let's make this super concrete. As you see here, reinforced materials is a feature. And honestly, who cares?
The benefit is it won't break and cost you more money later. See the difference? A feature is about your product. A benefit is always the answer to the customer's silent question, so what? Why should I care? Now, even if you do everything right, you are going to hit roadblocks. It's inevitable. But the modern salesperson has a completely different perspective on objections. They don't fear them. In fact, they welcome them. First things first, let's just get this out of the way because this can be the hardest part. An objection can feel like a personal rejection. It can sting a little, but it's not. It is not a no. It's simply a signal that the conversation isn't over yet. So, if they aren't a rejection, then what in the world are they? Well, they're a roadmap. You could even call them a treasure map. An objection is just a customer raising their hand and telling you exactly what you need to do to win their business. It's a request for more information, and it's your biggest opportunity to build even more trust and clarify your value. And of course, there's a process for this, as you can see. First, whatever you do, don't argue. Acknowledge their concern. I can understand why the price seems high. Then you question to understand. When you say hi, what are you comparing it to? Then you reframe their objection as a need. So it sounds like what you really need is to be certain this will deliver a strong ROI. And just like that, you're not talking about price anymore. You're talking about value, which is a conversation you can actually win. And this is where it all comes together, right? When you've built that trust, when you've diagnosed the real needs, presented a solution that's all about value, and you've treated objections as opportunities, well, the close stops being this scary, high-pressure event. It just becomes the logical, comfortable next step in the partnership. So please, just throw out all those old-school manipulative closing techniques. The Ben Franklin close, the assumptive close, they're relics of a totally bygone era. If you've truly solved their problem and there are no other concerns, the most powerful close in the entire world is just a simple, confident question. So, does this sound like the right path forward? And that really brings us to the ultimate question this whole philosophy asks you to consider. Are you just trying to be a salesperson, pushing a product for commission? Or are you striving to become a trusted, strategic advisor? Because in the modern world, one is a job, but the other is a career. And that, right there, is the true art of modern selling.